Ameliora lumina terrae et astra, conjuro vos potentia mea nostra. In the dimly lit chamber, bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, Muzi stood at the center of a circle, drawn with intricate symbols and runes. Her voice, melodious and pure, echoed through the room as she began the ancient incantation. As she spoke the words, the candles flickered and danced, casting eerie shadows on the faces of the 13 women gathered around her. Each member of the coven wore a dark robe, their eyes fixed on Muzi with a mixture of reverence and anticipation. They were bound by a shared destiny, connected by the threads of magic that wove their lives together. Muzi was the youngest member of the coven, a witch of exceptional talent, yet her innocence and naivety were endearing. Her dark hair framed her delicate face, and her wide eyes held a sparkle of curiosity and wonder. Her presence had revitalized the coven, bringing a youthful energy that had been missing for generations. The ritual she was performing was no ordinary spell. It was a ritual of immense power and consequence, one that had been passed down through generations of their coven. It was said to grant the caster the ability to see into the future, to glimpse the threads of fate that intertwined with their own lives. As Muzi continued to chant the incantation, her hands trembled slightly. The magic she invoked was potent, and it surged through her veins like a living thing. She could feel the energy building within her, a torrent of possibilities waiting to be unraveled. The coven members watched with bated breath as Muzi's eyes glazed over, turning a deep shade of violet. Her voice grew stronger, and the room seemed to vibrate with unseen power. It was as if the very air around them had come alive with magic. In her trance-like state, Muzi saw visions of the future, snippets of moments that were yet to come. She saw the coven facing trials and tribulations, but she also glimpsed moments of triumph and joy. She saw herself, standing with her sisters, united by their shared destiny. Then, as quickly as it had begun, the vision faded, and Muzi stumbled backward, her strength spent. The coven rushed to her side, their concern evident in their eyes. "Muzi, are you all right?" one of the older witches asked, her voice filled with worry. Muzi nodded weakly, her vision slowly returning to normal. I saw it," she whispered. "Our future, our trials, and our victories. We are bound by a destiny that will test us, but we will prevail." The coven members exchanged knowing glances. They had always believed in the power of their rituals, in the magic that bound them together as a family. Muzi's vision had only reaffirmed their faith. Weeks turned into months, and the coven faced the challenges that Muzi had foreseen. They encountered powerful adversaries, and their bonds were tested in ways they had never imagined. But they also celebrated moments of joy and triumph, standing together as a united force. Muzi's talents continued to grow, and she became a beloved leader of the coven. Her innocence had given way to wisdom, and her heart was filled with a deep love for her sisters. She had proven herself not only as a talented witch, but also as a courageous and compassionate leader. As the years passed, the coven's reputation grew, and they became a force to be reckoned with in the world of magic. They used their powers to protect the innocent, to bring justice to the oppressed, and to uphold the values they held dear. In the end, it was not just the magic that bound them together, but also the unbreakable bond of sisterhood. They were more than just a coven. They were a family. And they knew that as long as they stood together, there was no challenge they could not overcome. And so, in the flickering candlelight of their secret chamber, the coven continued to gather, to cast their spells, and to shape their destiny. They were witches, bound by magic and love, and they were ready for whatever the future held. In the heart of an enchanted forest, where the coven often convened, there lived a mystical creature known as Aurelia. She was a graceful being with iridescent wings that shimmered like a rainbow. Aurelia was a guardian of the forest, a creature of unparalleled beauty and power, capable of flight and possessing the ability to communicate with the very elements of nature. Aurelia's presence in the forest was no coincidence. Legends spoke of a prophecy that foretold the arrival of a young witch who would be destined to form an unbreakable bond with a mystical creature. The coven had long believed that Muzi was the chosen one, and Aurelia was the living embodiment of that prophecy. One fateful evening, as Muzi and the coven gathered beneath the canopy of ancient trees, Aurelia descended from the sky with a soft flutter of her wings. The air around her seemed to come alive, filled with a gentle hum of magic. Her presence was awe-inspiring, and her eyes, like twin stars, fixed on Muzi. Muzi felt a tingling sensation in her chest, a connection that went beyond words. She approached Aurelia, and their eyes met in a moment of profound understanding. It was as if they had known each other for eternity. The coven watched in silent wonder as the bond between Muzi and Aurelia grew stronger with each passing day. They embarked on magical journeys together, soaring through the forest, and Muzi discovered that Aurelia's wings held the secrets of the world. Aurelia taught Muzi to harness the power of the wind, to speak to the trees and animals, and to channel the energy of the earth itself. With each lesson, Muzi's magical abilities flourished, and her connection to the coven deepened. As the years passed, the forest thrived under the watchful eye of Aurelia and the protection of the coven. They were a formidable team, and their unity brought balance to the natural world. Together they thwarted those who sought to harm the forest and its inhabitants, ensuring that its magic remained intact. But as time flowed on, a darkness began to creep into the world. An ancient evil, long imprisoned, stirred in its slumber. It sought to break free and unleash chaos upon the land. The coven, along with Muzi and Aurelia, knew that they were the only ones who could prevent this calamity. With unwavering determination, they set out on a perilous journey to confront the source of the darkness. Their path was fraught with danger, and they faced trials that tested the limits of their magic and their bonds of sisterhood. But they pressed onward, fueled by their love for the forest and their desire to protect all that they held dear. In a climactic battle, Muzi and Aurelia combined their powers, creating a storm of magic that vanquished the ancient evil once and for all. The forest, once shrouded in darkness, was bathed in a brilliant light as the threat was extinguished. The coven and their mystical companion had prevailed, and the prophecy had been fulfilled. Muzi and Aurelia stood side by side, their hearts filled with pride and love for each other and the world they had saved. The bond between the coven and Aurelia remained unbreakable, a testament to the power of magic, friendship, and the enduring spirit of those who protect the natural world. As they returned to their enchanted forest, they knew that their adventures were far from over, and they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, together, in the company of their loyal and mystical friend. After their triumphant battle against the ancient evil, the coven and Aurelia returned to their forest, which now thrived with renewed vitality and magic. However, their adventures were far from over, for destiny had another path in store for them, one that would lead them to an incredible discovery. One evening, as the moon bathed the forest in silver light, a mysterious vision appeared to Muzi during her meditation. She saw an intricate and impossible maze hidden deep within the heart of the forest, its walls formed by shimmering vines and arcane symbols. At its center, a radiant glow emanated, and within that glow rested a magical trophy of unimaginable power, a trophy said to possess the ability to heal even the gravest of wounds. Muzi shared her vision with the coven, and together they embarked on a quest to find this mystical maze and claim the healing trophy. Aurelia, with her ability to commune with nature, guided them through the densest parts of the forest, leading them to the hidden entrance of the labyrinthine maze. The maze, however, was like no other. It shifted and changed, its walls rearranging themselves as if alive. The path ahead seemed impossible, with twists and turns that defied logic. But the Coven, with their combined magical prowess and unwavering determination, pressed on. As they journeyed deeper into the maze, they encountered obstacles that tested their strength and unity. They faced illusions that sought to deceive them and traps that threatened to ensnare them. But they relied on their collective magic, their bond as sisters, and the guidance of Aurelia to navigate the labyrinth's challenges. Days turned into weeks, but the Coven pressed on. Their determination never wavered, for they knew that the healing trophy held the power to mend not only their own wounds, but also the wounds of the world. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the heart of the maze, where the radiant glow beckoned them forward. There, amidst a bed of luminous flowers, they found the magical trophy, a chalice that shimmered with an otherworldly light. With trembling hands, Muzi lifted the trophy, and as she touched it, a surge of healing magic coursed through her. She knew that this trophy held the power to mend not only physical injuries, but also the scars of the soul. It was a gift from the very heart of the forest, a token of nature's love and resilience. The Coven, having achieved their goal, made their way out of the maze, which now seemed to guide them with ease, as if recognizing their worthiness. They returned to their forest home, carrying the magical trophy with them. In the days that followed, the Coven used the healing magic within the trophy to mend the wounds of those in need. They traveled far and wide, bringing comfort and hope to the afflicted, and their fame as benevolent witches spread throughout the land. With the healing trophy in their possession, the Coven continued their magical endeavors, protecting the forest, tending to the needs of the world, and deepening their bond with each passing day. Their adventures were a testament to the enduring power of friendship, love, and the magic that bound them together, and they knew that they were destined for many more extraordinary journeys in the enchanting world they called home. As time passed and the Coven continued their benevolent work, rumors began to circulate about a villain who was said to be the strongest in the universe. This malevolent force, known as Malakar, was shrouded in darkness and wielded powers beyond imagination. His ambition knew no bounds, and he sought to conquer all realms and bend them to his will. Muzi, determined to protect her beloved forest and the world beyond, knew that they needed to confront this formidable foe. She reached out to the magical community beyond the forest, seeking allies who could help them learn new spells and gather the strength necessary to face Malakar. Her search led her to a distant land, where she encountered 3 powerful witches, Aurora, Zephyr, and Lysandra. Each possessed unique abilities and knowledge of ancient spells. With their guidance, Muzi and the Coven embarked on a journey of discovery, delving into the deepest mysteries of magic. Under the mentorship of her newfound friends, Muzi honed her skills and learned spells that pushed the boundaries of her powers. The Coven, united and stronger than ever, felt invincible as they prepared for the inevitable showdown with Malakar. The day of reckoning arrived, and Muzi and her allies confronted Malakar on the edge of the enchanted forest. The clash of magic and wills shook the very foundations of reality. Sparks of power and lightning filled the sky as the 2 forces battled for control of the universe. But as the battle raged on, it became clear that Malakar was a force unlike any they had ever encountered. His powers seemed limitless, and he displayed a mastery of magic that defied comprehension. Despite their newfound strength and unity, Muzi and her friends found themselves outmatched. Desperation filled the air as the battle took a devastating turn. One by one, Aurora, Zephyr, and Lysandra were forced to flee, their faces etched with sorrow and regret. They knew that staying meant certain doom, and their sacrifice was the only way to preserve the last shreds of hope. Muzi, left alone to face Malakar, felt a surge of fear and despair. But she also felt the unbreakable bond of sisterhood with her coven and the memory of her mystical friend, Aurelia. who watched over them from the skies. With a newfound resolve, Muzi channeled the combined magic and wisdom of her friends. She fought fiercely, refusing to back down in the face of adversity. The battle raged on, and the forest itself seemed to lend its strength to her cause. In a final, climactic clash, Muzi unleashed all the magic she had learned and summoned the ancient powers of the forest. The energy surged through her, creating a brilliant, blinding light that enveloped Malakar. As the light cleared, it revealed a weakened and defeated Malakar, his malevolence finally quelled. Muzi had triumphed against the strongest villain in the universe, not through power alone, but through the strength of her heart, her unwavering determination, and the love and friendship of those who had stood by her side. The Coven, though scarred by the battle, rejoiced in their victory. They knew that they had faced the ultimate evil and emerged victorious, their bonds of sisterhood stronger than ever. They also knew that their adventures were far from over, for in their magical world, new challenges and mysteries always awaited. And so, under the watchful gaze of the mystical creature Aurelia, they returned to their forest home, ready to face whatever the future held, united and filled with hope, knowing that they had the power to overcome any obstacle, no matter how formidable. With Malakar defeated and the threat of his darkness vanquished, the forest and the realms beyond slowly began to heal. The Coven's triumphant return was met with joyous celebrations, not just from their fellow witches, but also from the friends and families who had stood by their side. As the news of their victory spread, allies from all corners of the magical world converged upon the enchanted forest. Witches, wizards, mystical creatures, and even beings from realms beyond came together to celebrate the end of Malakar's reign of terror. Underneath a sky ablaze with fireworks and surrounded by the love and support of their newfound allies, Muzi and her coven gathered once more. They linked hands in unity, the embodiment of hope and resilience in a world that had been touched by darkness but had emerged stronger than ever. But amidst the celebration and joy, a new beginning was quietly taking shape. 1 year after the defeat of Malakar, as the first rays of dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, Muzi and her beloved, a fellow member of the Coven, welcomed a beautiful baby girl into the world. Their daughter, named Aurora, was born with a sparkle of magic in her eyes. It was as if the very essence of the enchanted forest and the power of her coven flowed through her veins. The birth of Aurora was seen as a sign of hope and renewal, a symbol that the future held bright adventures and the promise of a world filled with love, joy, and happiness. As Aurora grew, her connection to the magical world became evident. She could communicate with animals, make flowers bloom with a touch, and even sense the ebb and flow of magic around her. Her laughter was like a melody, and her boundless curiosity led her to explore every nook and cranny of the enchanted forest. The Coven watched over her with love and pride, knowing that she was destined for extraordinary adventures of her own. They saw in her the potential to continue their legacy, to protect the forest, and to bring hope to a world that had known darkness. Aurora's chapters in life were as bright and diverse as the colors of a rainbow. She learned the secrets of the forest from Aurelia, who had become her guardian and friend. She trained in the ancient arts of magic and spell-casting under the guidance of her mother and the Coven. And as she ventured beyond the enchanted forest, she made new friends and allies, forging connections that would shape her destiny. As the years passed, Aurora's adventures took her to distant lands where she encountered mythical creatures, solved ancient mysteries, and used her powers to heal wounds and mend broken spirits. Her journey was filled with challenges, but her heart was filled with the same courage and determination that had defined her mother and the Coven. The enchanted forest, once shrouded in darkness, became a beacon of light and magic, a sanctuary for all who sought its protection, and the wisdom of its inhabitants. Aurora's chapters in life were just beginning, and the world held boundless possibilities for her. And so, in the heart of the enchanted forest, under the watchful eyes of her mother, the coven, and the mystical creature Aurelia, Aurora's story unfolded, promising bright adventures, hope, joy, and happiness to all who crossed her path. The legacy of the coven and the magic of the forest lived on through her, a testament to the enduring power of love, friendship, and the magic that bound them all together.